Before we dive in, don't forget, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and leave a comment if you think you could have faced the danger these heroes did. This is dark, this is real, and it will leave you questioning everything. It was a warm December evening at Bondi Beach, Sydney, the kind where the sun dipped into the horizon like molten gold, and families lingered on the sand, oblivious to the chaos that was about to erupt. Laughter echoed across the shoreline. Children ran barefoot, carrying kites that danced with the wind. But then, in the blink of an eye, serenity was shattered. The black SUV screeched along the coastal road, tires burning against asphalt. Two men inside, faces cold and unreadable, carried the weight of a plan that would turn the beach into a scene of horror. Their movements were precise, almost rehearsed, and in the back of their minds, there was no turning back. Among the unsuspecting crowd, Boris and Sofia Gurman strolled hand in hand. Married for nearly 35 years, they had survived decades together, raising children and building a life full of quiet joys. But they were about to encounter a moment that would demand courage the likes of which they had never imagined. The first shots rang out like a clap of thunder, abrupt and terrifying. Screams tore through the evening air. People dove into the sand, clutching children, shielding loved ones. Chaos exploded. The Gurmans froze for a heartbeat, shock painted across their faces. Then, instinct overtook fear. Boris lunged toward the nearest gunman, an act of defiance so raw it shocked even those who had been trained to react in crises. Sofia followed without hesitation, grabbing at the shooter's arm, their collective bravery in an attempt to protect strangers from imminent death. Witnesses later described the scene as surreal. Sand kicked up around the struggle, the black SUV idling just a few feet away. The gunmen wrestled, shoving the couple with reckless fury. And then, the unthinkable happened. Shots fired. Boris and Sofia fell, leaving the world stunned in their wake. Emergency sirens cut through the screams, and within minutes, police and paramedics flooded the beach. But the attackers had vanished into the city's shadows, leaving behind chaos, shattered families, and questions that demanded answers. Investigators arrived on the scene, combing through tire tracks, shell casings, and scattered personal belongings. Surveillance footage from nearby cafes painted a fragmented story of the attack, the precise timing, the chilling calm of the gunmen before the carnage, and the Gurmans' desperate attempt to stop them. Every frame revealed a small piece of a much larger puzzle, a puzzle drenched in blood and fear. As the night wore on, detectives uncovered a startling clue, a crumpled piece of paper near the SUV, bearing a cryptic message and a series of numbers. It was unlike anything they had seen before, a potential blueprint for the attack or a personal vendetta written in haste. Whoever left it had intended to communicate something, but to whom? And then, in the Gurmans' belongings, tucked inside a travel bag that had miraculously survived the chaos, there was another discovery, a letter addressed to their children, dated just a week before the attack. The letter spoke of love, of a life well lived, but it also hinted at unease, a fleeting worry about a stranger who had been following them. Could it have been coincidence, paranoia, or the first warning of the terror that would claim their lives? As detectives pieced together the fragments, one chilling realization became clear. This was no random act. Someone had planned this, and the Gurmans' courage had forced the attackers to change course, but at the ultimate cost. And then, behind the cordon, in the shadows of a nearby lifeguard tower, a security camera caught movement, someone observing the aftermath, someone who shouldn't have been there. When police zoomed in, the footage revealed a face they didn't recognize, a figure lurking quietly, waiting. But when they traced the figure's movements through the city, what they found next would change everything. The city of Sydney had never felt so small. Detectives scoured every alleyway, every rooftop, every shadow, searching for the man caught on the surveillance footage, a figure who seemed to glide through the chaos, unseen and untouchable. They called him the Observer, a name whispered among officers who had seen the video. No fingerprints, no ID, no trace, only a haunting presence that suggested he was more than a witness. Meanwhile, the investigation into Boris and Sofia's deaths unfolded with painstaking intensity. Witnesses described their bravery, but conflicting accounts began to emerge. Some said the Gurmans had targeted a specific vehicle. Others insisted they had simply reacted to the first gunfire. Detectives knew that understanding the couple's final moments was critical, not only to catching the attackers, but to unraveling a plan that was bigger than anyone imagined. Forensic teams discovered a new piece of evidence, a small burnt notebook inside the black SUV. Most of it was illegible, charred beyond recognition, but one phrase remained clear: the past will rise to meet the future. It was cryptic, almost poetic, but the investigators felt the weight of it immediately. This was more than a crime of opportunity. It was personal. Someone had been planning this attack for months, if not years.
In the days following the shooting, detectives began tracing the attacker's digital footprint. Emails, phone calls, even obscure social media accounts revealed fragments of a conspiracy. One name kept appearing: Sajid Akram, a man with a violent history but no direct link to the Gurmans. His son, Naveed Akram, surfaced in the investigation as well, a younger, unpredictable accomplice who had been in the shadows, learning, watching, waiting. Their motive? Still a mystery, but hints of revenge, ideology, and obsession slowly emerged. Then came a shocking discovery. Surveillance footage from a nearby cafe, previously overlooked, showed the Gurmans being followed, not just by the attackers, but by another figure entirely. This person appeared calm, almost casual, carrying nothing but a small backpack. The realization hit detectives like a punch to the gut. Someone had been stalking the Gurmans long before the attack. Someone who had intimate knowledge of their routines, their habits, and even their fears. The police expanded their search, combing through home security footage, taxi logs, and public transit cameras. And then, one lead came from an unexpected source: the Gurman's neighbor, an elderly man with a love for photography, remembered seeing a car parked across the street for several days, always empty, always watching. When questioned, he revealed the license plate, but the vehicle had been stolen weeks earlier. Someone was cleaning their tracks, meticulously erasing any trace of their movements. The tension in the city escalated. Families stayed indoors, schools heightened security, and yet the shadowy figure, the Observer, remained elusive, always one step ahead. Every lead led to another dead end. Every clue only deepened the mystery. Then came a breakthrough, cryptic, chilling, and entirely unexpected. A witness reported seeing the Observer slip a folded envelope into a mailbox near the beach. Inside, investigators found a single photograph: the Gurmans, smiling, taken just weeks before their deaths. But there was something odd, a faint symbol etched into the corner of the photo, almost imperceptible. It matched the burned notebook phrase: "The past will rise to meet the future." Suddenly, it wasn't just about a random attack. It was about history repeating itself, a vendetta rooted in secrets long buried. And the deeper detectives dug, the more dangerous it became. Because someone close to the Gurmans' life, their trusted friends, even family, might not be who they seemed. As night fell over Bondi Beach, investigators returned to the scene one last time before dawn. They scanned the sand, the dunes, the lifeguard towers, and then, beneath a pile of discarded towels and debris, they found something small, metallic, and terrifying: a key. A key to a locker, a storage unit, or perhaps something much darker. When they unlocked what it opened, the truth waiting inside would change everything. The key led detectives to an unassuming storage unit on the outskirts of Sydney, tucked behind rows of shuttered doors that smelled of dust and rust. As they turned the lock, a metallic click echoed through the empty facility, the sound amplifying the tension that had been building for days. Inside, the air was thick, heavy with the scent of decay and secrets long hidden. What they found stopped them in their tracks. Stacks of meticulously organized documents, photographs, and surveillance recordings filled the room. Among them were folders labeled with the Gurman's names, their daily routines, their friends, and even their family members. Whoever had planned the attack had done so with an obsessive, almost fanatical precision. Every movement of Boris and Sofia had been cataloged, analyzed, and exploited. Then came the photographs, shots of the Gurmans taken from a distance, some at their home, others at cafes, parks, and even at family gatherings. And tucked into one folder was a letter addressed to the couple, unsigned, written months before the attack. "You can run, but history cannot be silenced. The debt must be paid." Detectives began piecing together a story that was more horrifying than they could have imagined. The attackers, Sajid Akram and Naveed Akram, were not strangers. They had a connection to a decades-old business dispute that had left old wounds festering, and the Gurmans, through no fault of their own, had become symbols of that unresolved vengeance. Every detail of the December attack had been calculated, timed precisely, executed with deadly intent, and designed to send a message. But the most chilling discovery was yet to come. Hidden beneath the files, in a small, locked box, were 2 passports with photos of the Gurmans themselves, but the documents were forged. Whoever orchestrated the attack had planned for them to disappear entirely, to erase their existence as part of a meticulous plan of retribution. The realization sent shivers through the investigators. The Gurman's courage had not just saved strangers, it had disrupted a plan that went far beyond a single shooting. As the investigation unfolded, the observer was finally identified. It wasn't a stranger, it was someone the Gurmans had trusted, a former business partner of Boris, quietly watching from the shadows, documenting everything. His motivations were a tangled mix of envy, revenge, and a desire for control. He had orchestrated the attack, but had not anticipated the Gurmans' bravery, their instinct to intervene, which disrupted the plan entirely. The climax of the story came in a tense confrontation months later. Sajid Akram had died at the scene, but Naveed remained at large, hiding in plain sight. Police tracked him to a remote warehouse, the air tense with anticipation. When officers entered, Naveed attempted to flee, but the operation was swift. He was captured alive, finally revealing the full extent of the plot. A decades-old grudge, a twisted legacy of vengeance, and a carefully orchestrated plan meant to erase a family from existence. Even after the arrests, the beach remained haunted. Locals remembered the bravery of Boris and Sofia, the couple who had faced death to save strangers, whose final act of courage disrupted a deadly vendetta. Memorials sprung up, news outlets told their story, and yet the chilling truth lingered. Someone close had watched, plotted, and almost succeeded. And then came the twist that no one saw coming. 3 months later, a new envelope arrived at the Sydney police headquarters. Inside was a single photograph of another couple on a beach, smiling, unaware. On the back, written in the same hand as before, "The past has not finished its work." The story of Boris and Sofia Gurman was over, but the shadow of what they faced remained. A grim reminder that courage can change fate, but danger often waits in the most familiar places.